What's up, everybody? We're going to do a little debrief episode. It's been a few, and I've come across a few things that I thought would be awesome to share with you. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the Warrior Mindset Podcast. We're your guide as you make your way through life, getting better 1% every day. We believe that life is lived and true victory won through adversity. Nothing easy is ever worth it. We believe in the warrior ethos.
All right, everybody, let's get into this episode, which is a debrief episode. And remember, the whole point of these are that we find some things out there on social media to help us think and grow and not just, scroll until we die. I've gone to this one a couple of times. I actually really like his newsletter. Arnold Schwarzenegger has this weekly, I believe, email newsletter he puts out. It's called The Pump, and this one has some good stuff in it. It is 16 lessons from The Pump. So I think he's gone back through a bunch of older ones and pulled some stuff in. But I want to look at some of these. Recovery is just important as training. That's a solid bit of advice. It's not just about working out, but it's also about work. It's about relationships, whatever. You got to make sure you have enough recovery built in, so you can repair, like whether it's mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever it is. The metaphor here that he uses is like working out. So no matter as hard as you work out, you have to make sure you have recovery built in, because remember, you only improve when your body is recovered and rested, and that's when it actually grows. Garbage reps, garbage results. Again, going with the workout thing here, but a lot of people, and I see this in my gym too sometimes, where people are doing it, they're going through the motions, but they're not really present. They're not really focusing on it. It's the same thing in business and relationships, particularly relationships. If you're just there, but you're not really present, maybe you're there with your family, but you're working on your laptop or whatever, or you're on your phone and you're not engaging in those conversations, you're not there. Garbage reps. Be curious. Always be learning, always be looking up things to better yourself or to just learn some things or whatever. Always stay curious, Habit trumps motivation. I've got one later with Ryan Holiday. We're going to look at habits or routines over goal setting. I do believe this. I've gotten into this with some other guests on episodes in the past and stuff. Not that it was a fight or anything, but I do really believe in habits, and particularly as a content creator or a business owner or whatever, you've got to build those routines and those habits. It's really more important in this case, more than motivation. Like the saying goes, motivation will get you started, but your habits will get you there. Embrace the foundation. Whatever got you there, stick with it. Like you ever hear the term like it's about the basics? I believe that 100% in the martial arts and my training or whatever, that the basics are where it's at. So always stick to the foundation. If you're ever feeling lost or whatever, just go back to the basics. First set mindset. That's solid, right? The first thing to go to is your mindset. Whether it's positive outlook, whether it's growth mindset, whatever the thing is, he's referring to a book by this person, First Set Mindset. You've got to just, that's so important, is to just have a good mindset, but it's also about those other things we've already covered, like habits and basics and things like that. And whatever those things are that help you get centered or build that mindset, that's the first thing you should be focusing on. It doesn't effing matter. The overthinkers, for all of our overthinkers out there, there's like a saying, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it goes something along the lines of, we spend our 20s and 30s, or we spend our teens and 20s worrying about what other people think. We spend our 30s and 40s realizing that no one's really thinking about us, and we will spend our 50s and 60s realizing that no one even knows we're there. Um, it doesn't matter, any of those things. So whatever it is you're overthinking or beating yourself up over or whatever, stop. You know, um, rethink counting calories. He's got some health things. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, so there's always going to be some health things in there. Um, he's saying that there are other things more important than just counting calories. He talks about the 80-20, be good, be on the plan, be on the path 80% of the time, 20% of the time you can sort of get by or whatever. That's one thing. There's other ways to do it. Just, it's whatever they call it, intuitive eating and stuff like that. So it's just controlling yourself as opposed to, chronicling everything you do. Different things work for different people. But maybe this is a catalyst for you to go research something, consistency over perfection. Again, all of our perfectionists out there are overthinkers. It's the age old principle of like, a plan executed poorly now is better than a perfect plan never executed. Again, I'm sure I slaughtered that one, but you get the point. Consistency, working every day, whatever on your goals or whatever those things are, building those habits is way more important than being perfect out of the gate. A lot of people don't start new things because they're embarrassed of the way they might look. Reframe your mindset. What he's talking about here is positive mental language to yourself. Speak well to yourself positively. He's got this example here where he's working out and it's like, come on, fatty, or don't ruin this or whatever. It's changing those things to being more positive, right? So you have to reframe those things. You don't call yourself names. You don't speak down to yourself. You always build yourself up. We say things to ourselves and we treat ourselves in ways that we would never treat other people. And think about that. Think about what you do. Be vulnerable. I think there's a kind of a fine line there where what he's saying is be vulnerable, being open to other people, listening, talking, sharing your history and things like that. I think that's important. There's a fine line there between, you don't want to overshare. You don't want to be that person who's telling you everything all the time. That person's kind of obnoxious. You don't want to be that person, but you do want to be vulnerable. You do want to share your life experiences, good and bad. It can help other people. Another health one here, the fiber factor, pretty obvious. If you're consuming lots of proteins and fats and things like that in your diet, you do need to add some fiber. Pretty simple, but it will really help you. I promise you'll feel better. The tension principle. This is a great metaphor for lots of things, particularly training. If you're strength training, time under tension is an age old thing that is very important. It's not to just do fast repetitions; it's to do things where your muscles are under tension. The same thing goes for training. The same thing goes for, when I say training, I mean like sport training or martial arts or whatever, but it's also for learning and mental training. Is that spending that time under tension, the time under uncomfortable situations will help you in the long run improve through those uncomfortable situations. Embrace the struggle. I think these two kind of go together in that his story here is that I used to hate those hard, slow last reps. Made me feel like I was struggling, whatever, but that's where the magic is. The magic is found in those hard points, the hardest parts of things, and spending time there, spending time under that tension is important. Asking for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. Don't be one of those people that you just constantly ask other people to do things for you. That's annoying, but not being afraid to ask for help when you really need it, to understand something, if someone's a specialist in something and they happen to be your friend, you can definitely ask them their opinion. And then the last one here, he has stop winging it. We all tend to do what we want and not what we need, right? So you do need some sort of a plan. Um, you get a basic plan together and execute it. You don't overplan like the other ones stated, but you do need some sort of a roadmap or something, just something fast, and definitely work on those points. The point is that you don't just go into something blind. You don't just go and shoot off the hip and try to figure things out. That's what he's talking about. That was really fast, but I wanted to get through that. What a solid email newsletter The Pump is. I think you should go sign up for this. Some of them aren't great. Some of them are really good. And like this one gave me a lot of stuff to think about, and I wanted to share that with you. Okay, this next thing is pretty incredible. Of all people, not of all people, but somebody I do follow. I mean, he's, you can take him or leave him, whatever. But I follow Tim Kennedy's account, and he puts out some crazy stuff sometimes. But this one, I really dug this one. He starts it off with "Raise Your Young Right," but this Kenyan runner, Abel Mutai, was just a few feet from the finish line, but became confused with the signage and stopped, thinking he had completed the race. Another runner, a Spanish runner, Ivan Fernandez, was right behind him, and realizing what was happening, started shouting, but they didn't speak the same language. So he like grabbed him and moved him, and helped him win the race. And the journalist asked, Ivan, why did you do that? And I replied, my dream is that someday we can have a kind of community where where we push and help each other to win. But why did you let him win? The journalist asked. And Ivan replied, I didn't let him win. He was going to win. He had that race. And the journalist said, but you could have won. And Ivan said, looked at him and he replied, but what would be the point of that? What would be the merit? I wouldn't have beaten him with my skills. I would have just beaten him by tricking him. That is so great. And, I'm not going to just poop on a lot of Americans, because this is, I'm sure this is everywhere, but it just feels like a very American thing to win at all costs, and I don't necessarily like that vibe. I loved reading this. What a great story. And yeah, your mom would be proud, and that's some solid stuff. Some more Olympic stuff to look at here. That, the Olympics are going on right now while I'm recording this, or they're starting to wrap up or whatever. But this one here from, and I don't know that, man, I'm kind of embarrassed. Ilona Maher. Ilona Maher. I'm gonna go with that. She caught some flack or whatever. I don't know, but her Instagram account has like almost 3 million followers now because of the Olympics and stuff and all this bullshit she's been sort of dealing with. But she's like saying, or people are saying that she has like a BMI of 30 or whatever. I mean, come on. And she looks great, but she caught a lot of flack. Like, people were saying some really, really terrible things. And this is actually being, I love this one. Imagine being a keyboard warrior, body shaming an actual Olympian. Yeah. Holy shit. But there's been a lot of really negative things being said, like at people or to their accounts and things like that in this Olympics, from, the boxer or whatever, to her, to, other like legit legends in the Olympics. I think she looks great, and I don't understand why people would say this kind of stuff. She's also a rugby athlete. She's an Olympic rugby athlete. I mean, those athletes are incredible in what they do, and she is incredible. She's like a legend now. I don't get it. So let's check a little bit of this out.
And not just what pops up here, like you do. And we talked about BMI, and we talked about how it really isn't helpful for athletes. BMI doesn't tell you much. It just tells you what your height and weight and what that equals.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I've said it before, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. And I have about, and this is an estimate, but about 170 pounds of lean mass on me.
Holy crap.
Do that math in your head. You probably can't. Hi, thank you for this comment. That's pretty crazy, right? And that BMI doesn't really tell you what I can do. It doesn't tell you what I do on the field, how fit I am. It's just a couple numbers put together. It doesn't tell you how much muscle I have or anything like that.
Yeah, so she just goes on and on about some BMI stuff. But I 100% agree. In my gym, we don't use BMI at all. It's sort of built into this scale that we use. We use an in-body scanner to show skeletal muscle mass and things like that. You know, if you're out there, the scale alone doesn't tell the only story. There's a lot of other things that you need
I think
to help you figure out where you are and what you need to be doing. BMI is very outdated, in my opinion, and it doesn't tell anything. And a lot of times before people step on that scale, I invoke Arnold Schwarzenegger and I say, you know, in his prime, in his 30s or 40s, when he's making those movies, he stepped on the scale, he would probably be reported as having a high BMI. He would probably be reported as being overweight. And we know that's not true. Look at him. Same with her. So if you're out there looking at that stuff, you know, talk to a professional, look some stuff up, educate yourself. It's going to help you. So this, I had a smile at this. I love this. A rule for tough decisions, a rule to sort of, and I've heard this in different places, but I love this graphic and I wanted to share this with you. I think that if you're listening to the audio, we'll get into it here, but it's a rule set for thinking about things that matter in your life. So will this matter in 10 minutes, in 10 months, in 10 years? Those three filters, whatever filter it is, but this is just what this one says. You know, it could be 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, whatever. Put things in perspective. You know, if something is bothering you, will this still bother you in 10 minutes? Will it still bother you in 10 months? Will it still bother you in 10 years? Or life investments, things you're doing with your family, things you're doing with your friends. That's important. I think this is super important. I love this graphic. Okay, Anthony Bourdain. I do follow the Anthony Bourdain fan club. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Bourdain. But this right here, I happen to believe that everybody in this world at one point in their life needs an ass kicking. It is an enlightening experience getting your ass kicked. When I got mine, I didn't enjoy it, but it was a learning experience. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Rest in peace, Anthony. That is a great quote. I think it's something that the martial arts teaches us. He was a jiu-jitsu practitioner for a long time. I believe he might have had his black belt. I'm sure someone will correct me if he didn't, but I think he did. So he traveled the world and trained. And, you know, martial arts are definitely a thing where you're going to get your butt kicked. I think it's what, for the most part, for most people who have trained them, if any serious nature, you know, I think it's something that you learn. There's a whole thing about jiu-jitsu we could probably get into at some other episode about, you know, where it stands and stuff like that. But yeah, so I love this quote. So this next one's kind of interesting. It's this self-defense for, let's see if we can get the translation here. It doesn't show me. So it's like female martial arts, women's martial arts, using judo from like the 60s or whatever. If you know anything about judo, you know that it's the art of using someone's energy against them, sort of the idea. And I've seen a few of these things where it's like, you know, old-timey self-defense and stuff. And I think that this is incredible stuff here. I really think a lot of these things will work. They're kind of clowning around or whatever, but a lot of these techniques would really come in handy, not just for women, but you know, there you go. One of the comments reminds me of that Key and Peele skit where the guy's like, you know, hitting on all the women or whatever. But that's kind of the point here. You know, something I think about a lot is that women, self-defense, most of the time is taught by dudes. And, you know, women's self-defense needs and thoughts are really quite different from men. They're going to find themselves in different situations. And if you're a man, if you're a dude out there teaching self-defense, you know, talk to some women, like, who might be your students or whatever, go through it and try to figure some things out and pressure test some things that they may tell you that they may find themselves, scenarios they may find themselves in. I think you'll find it very helpful. All right. Teased it earlier. This is the Ryan Holiday thing. He's, I guess, quoting this thing out from GQ or whatever, but why this Stoic philosophy expert doesn't believe in setting goals. This is a cool, I'll link this up for sure, but it goes into his routine. So he prioritizes routines and habits over just goal setting. And I've always thought that myself. I don't and he is very prolific, man. First of all, look him up. Look how many books he's written. He is constantly cranking out books, content for his social media, content for his website, his podcast. I mean, the guy doesn't stop. You've got to have those habits and you've got to have that routine, whichever one comes first for you, but you've got to have those things in place. I talk with a lot of people about just setting goals and things, and a lot of times the goals just seem really arbitrary. I've had business partners in the past that will want to set these monetary goals and things, and I'm like, hey, good, whatever you need to make a sign that sits in front of you. You want things as like way markers in your process to see where you are, or whatever. But setting goals can very well be arbitrary. And I find them most of the time, they really feel like that. But if you are truly trying to make a dent on your life for the long term, for the 10 months, the 10 years, thinking about your routines and fitting in, doing the things that move the ball are super important. And this post really gets into it in this interview. I suppose I could have found the GQ link, but I follow Ryan Holiday, so there we go. So like this, there is no there's only the path and the work of walking as it presently and fully as possible. That's right. It's the way. There's no, like, if you're working on your life, on yourself, there is not you don't like ever get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm perfect now. I mean, that's not the case. You need to create those steps and routines in those places of study, those places of solitude, whatever. For him, it's a walk. It can be whatever for you. Yeah, there we go. Right, the last one here. Just want to do your little a bit of growth mindset for the week. And as always, Mark Manson hits it out of the park. I don't know how he does it. I think he's probably got like AI bots writing stuff for him constantly. But he's another one like Ryan Holiday that's always putting out content. But this one here, I kind of want to stick this on my wall because I suffer from this sometimes. And this growth mindset hack or whatever, thinking this way, the world isn't zero sum. You can win and others can win. I think that the world is in a place like this right now, and it really sucks. Right? I'll read it. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. Just because someone else is losing doesn't mean you're winning. I don't know why in so many things now, like social media, whatever, we feel like we have to tear something down in order to build the thing that we want up. You don't build the tallest building in town by leveling all the tall buildings. You just build a taller building. Like, you can win and somebody else can win. It's great. You can help each other win. Like, I don't know why we're not doing that as like human beings or like as Americans or whatever, we can all win. We don't, one person doesn't have to suffer for me to not suffer, and like he says here, sometimes it's not even clear what winning means, like, what does it really mean? It's different for different people. So what looks like winning for one person may not be for you at all. Somebody might be focused solely on money, whereas you want time with your family or whatever it is, So read this one. I'm gonna print it out and put it on my wall here because I kind of suffer from thinking about me needing to win, meanings I have to compete with other people. I don't, like gyms or web design companies or whatever, or being a black belt and having students. Other people can do things better than me. They can win, and I can still win. I can learn from them as well. So there's your growth mindset hack for the week. So yeah, I hope you got something out of this. That's some good stuff. I encourage you to, hit your social media and try to pull things out of it that can help you sort of level yourself up, and not just watching people, fall and get hurt, which that's fun too, right? But balance it out. So yeah, until next time, that's your debrief. Get after it, y'all.